For your experience at Hope today.
Thank you.
Things that rang my bell. Full disclosure, I'm going out to hear some music tonight where people, they, in some people's estimation, it's not. It's a very loud band called Swans. It's at a place called the Paradise in Boston. That's my legitimate reason for going there. And I say that at an AA meeting because I'm not going there to pick anybody up or get drunk. I'm there to get my ears blown out. So I wear earplugs. So that's my thing.
Right.
And when I got sober, I don't think I'd ever set foot in a club like that again. But I have very successfully for a few 24 hours. And if things get a little, out of sorts, I can just leave. I take my own car. Go to a meeting the day of, and then report back to people who know that I'm heading out for the night. We're not heading out, you know what I mean? The thing about temptation, I really identify with that. It's like being a good boy for a few 24 hours and saying, it's like, ooh. It happened last week in all places, a retreat house that I was working at in Connecticut. Someone there was very interesting, was artist type, and I felt like, something's going on here. So what I do, I ratted myself out to someone else, like, this is what's happening. I said, there's nothing wrong with attraction as long as you don't take the next step. Yeah, I heard earlier on in sobriety that if you're sober enough to get into a relationship, you better be sober enough to get out of it. Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. So, it's good to be back. I wasn't at this meeting last week, but me and my colleagues had some good AA nourishment on the shores of Connecticut, and kind of make a point to come here to just check in and hear some good experience drinking the boat. So, what day is it now?
8:37, brother.
8:37.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah. Right on call. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Hey, sir.
Hi, good morning, Rob. Thanks for your service, Suzanne Alcoholic.
Hey, Suzanne.
To be here so today on this beautiful October 6th. My nephew turns 21 today.
Oh, congrats.
And if his birthday was due the 7th, which is my father's birthday, if he was on the 7th, his name wasn't going to be Anthony. And today it's Anthony. And he's so cute. But I'm blessed to be alive and sober. A lot of what you said, Sean, for life. I've been blessed with sobriety being in his life for 18 years. When I think back, I was drunk at his first and second birthday, and I think his third birthday. Not drunk, but like waking him over at his parties and stuff. But because I was sober, I got to drive him to football, drive him to school, drive him to his baseball games, stuff like that. And he was away for college. Now he's back here the last few years in Bridgewater, but he's grown up what a handsome, nice kid he is. And I'm grateful because I would have no relationships with any of my nieces and nephews if I wasn't sober. I have no kids of my own. And it's been a stressful past year. With all the changes, my aunt passing away, my mother being very, very sick. But I made a decision last night, and I've been trying to make a decision to make my sobriety first. And I got a text from PT from my mother and the nurse, and I canceled all her appointments. Not only because I was tired, but she's tired, and I wanted to get here to a full meeting because I could. And I'm so grateful for that because I haven't been able to come to a full meeting in 9 to 10 months. So I'm grateful to be here present, to listen to you, to listen to everybody in AA, to be grateful that I'm sober. When I was driving here, I am so grateful I'm sober. I got a lot going on, but I couldn't do it drinking. I know I couldn't. I know. And when, like you say, you can't do this by yourself. I can't. I think that, I'm okay after drinking 18 years, so I don't need to go to the meeting. I need to do this, and this. And although I laid out all my bills to do the one after I go to the meeting, I don't have any paperwork except one piece of paper to write down what I gotta do. And I'm grateful to be here, really, really grateful that I'm here. And even though my head's going 50 miles an hour, for right now, I don't have to do anything until 1 o'clock. Like, I gave myself a break from 11 to 1. And that's because I'm sober and I listen to people, it's Friday say, when you're in the meeting, be present at the meeting.
Mhm.
And if I'm present at the meeting, the rest of the stuff I can do. So, thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne, thank you.
Suzanne, good to hear.
Great hearing you, Suzanne, as always, always.
John.
Hey, John.
Thanks for jumping up there, and thanks everybody for sharing so far. Gratitude, you all have the story, but I remember when I finally surrendered and came back, it was, you know, I heard the expression on the thought that, geez, I don't get the respect. You gotta have an attitude of gratitude. And so on Christmas Eve, some of my buddies were going to a meeting, so I went to a meeting. And there was a guy at one of the meetings, excuse me, he was 20 years sober. And he said, remember this, you gotta have gratitude to change your attitude. I'm 3 months sober. He said it backwards. He was 20 years sober, he said it backwards. So the other guy, so at the time, about 10 years anyway, and just look at it, so don't worry about it. So then, a couple of weeks later, a guy named Jimmy, he started, I was going to say, one of the groups in Denver, one of the groups on anyway, now he was 25 years old. And he said, remember, you're gonna have gratitude to change your attitude. This guy's got it all mixed up.
Right.
That just popped into my head because every time someone says gratitude, that's what I think of. I'm 3 months sober and I know better than those guys that are sober, one of them 20 and the other one 25 years. I know what it really should be. Well, what I learned from my sponsor, because I talked to my sponsor, I said, what do they give you, what do they do that for? He said, you know, John, he taught me to make a gratitude list in the morning and in the evening. I said, what do I get to be grateful for? He said, you got a home? I said, yes. You got a family? Yes. You got a job? Yes. You got a car to drive to work? I said, yes. He said, start with that. The lonely niece, and I said, you know, ask her to help me take your car, help me have a car and a job and a wife and children and family and now it's this long now. But so I started to do that. And guess what happened? My attitude changed. I recognized that I had a lot more things than a lot of other people. First of all, I wasn't drunk. Second of all, my wife didn't throw me out. My kids were little, so they wouldn't talk at me about home. I had a good job. And I had 2 jobs actually. And I had a car to drive to work and stuff like that, you know. And so he just taught me to make a gratitude list every day. And I say it every morning and every night. Thank God for all I have in my life. And you know, number one thing I'm grateful for is sobriety. So for quite a while now. Everything, you know, people say everything I ever dreamed of. I didn't have any dreams when I was a kid. I honestly didn't. I didn't have dreams. I didn't say, look, I'm going to do this and then I grew up in an alcoholic home. And the only experience I really had is as a kid growing up was trouble and pain. You know, so I didn't have a lot of expectations. I didn't have expectations, I guess. You know, I would love to have to do this and be a teacher and a coach. I want to have being able to do that for the coaching side. I've taught for a number of years as well as coaching. But anyway, but things have happened to me that I couldn't have imagined. You know what I mean? I've had things happen in my life and situations that I've been able to accomplish, things I've been able to accomplish, and you know, I never dreamed of them. Just as life would go on, you know, years went by. I ran the Boston Marathon. I should take my kids to the marathon and watch it go by, run it by. And in the 80s, I started to do some running. I saw guys that really, I was in sports my whole life, you know, running basketball, football, everything. And anyway, they started running. some of the guys were in the area, and I said, wow, they're really good at that, right? And then someone ran a marathon. Wow, that's amazing. So anyway, I ran a marathon, I ran the Boston Marathon 3 times. I go, oh, the kids were little. I said, Dad, that's someday. You think so, Daddy?
Right.
Then they got to be teenagers, and I said, come on, Dad. But 1988, I ran the marathon for the first time. And I was 45 years old. I was on a track, I was in the sport, but I was 45 years old. And I cried all the way down Wilson Street. I can't believe it. You're actually finishing in Boston, just my children have grown up in a sober home. All my kids are in the, well, one of them just turned 60, but I won't tell you. They're all in the, but they're all, they all, by God's grace, they all grew up. But, I stayed working with kids and coaching and I always had a game was involved in politics. I was elected to public office in Boston 4 times. And just stuff like that. My kids all went through college, we got 4 kids through college in 10 years. And it just, most unbelievable part. When I got married, my brother who died sober, Dickie, 31 years at age 80, his most important job as the best man was to make sure I made it to the wedding. And this past April, my wife and I celebrated 60 years of marriage. And if you had said to me, that's what happened. I don't know if I were crazy.
Oh, woman. Sorry.
But anyway, just all that, so I have gratitude has changed my attitude towards everything. And I say it all day long, if I'm in a hurry and I make a light, I say, thank you guys. That's just little stuff. Thank you for the little things. Those are all kind of big things, but the little things, I've had $1 million loans, I call it. And we have one granddaughter, who's now in junior college on the Pennsylvania. But she was little, and I've told this here before, I just walked over here. I would say to her, you're my favorite granddaughter. It should be famous, And she got to be 89 years old, and I said, how's my favorite granddaughter? She looked at me and said, Grandpa, I'm your only granddaughter. That's $1 million woman. $1 million woman. And I said to her, that's why you're so special. Just stuff like that. Those are more important than some of the other stuff to me. Anyway, thanks for sharing, Robin. Thanks for listening. And thank you everybody else for sharing.
Thank you, Joe. My guy Joe,
Hi,
classmate.
Joe, an alcoholic.
Hey, Joe.
Bobby, what a classmate you are.
Yes.
So remember, we're still in 2nd grade.
You already.
66 years old, I'm in 2nd grade. But gratitude, what I was just thinking, if you're grateful for something, you're going to appreciate something. I'm grateful for my sobriety. And I really appreciate it, and I always want to work hard to keep it. And like you said, meetings. Meetings is what gets me going to help me with sobriety, It was kind of similar. Someone showed me that app on my phone, and that's where I call it meet time. I went meet time, and I still go to different meetings every time, I'm so grateful for this meeting, because this is one of the meetings I really got sober in, and I've been here almost 7 days a week. I should bring my bed in here. But that's all right. But, I'm grateful, and that's how I show my gratitude, is because I appreciate it, I appreciate my sobriety. God gave me a lot of gifts. I mean, my home group, Trailside, less than 500 yards away from my house. That's a gift. I'm grateful for that gift. I appreciate that gift. I got a good group of guys in that group. God's given me these gifts, and I appreciate what he's done, so I gotta do what he's telling me to do, you know? It's, and you said it, the first word of the promise is we, the steps, we. We, it's, we all gotta work together, you know, just hearing a little, someone tells me something different every day, it makes me think. 2.5 years ago, I couldn't think. I was pretty close to wet brain. And now it's starting to work, so I'm grateful my brain's finally working. My dogs are grateful for me, and, you know, everyone's grateful that I'm sober. And I gotta keep staying sober to continue this path. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe, you're best. Hey, Phyllis.
Good morning, Phyllis and Alcohol.
Hey, Phyllis.
It was really good to hear you, it's really good to hear everybody here. I'm grateful for this meeting, because, Joe said I got sober in this meeting. Took me 2 tries, but the second time, I walked in and finally admitted I was an alcoholic and I like to become manageable. And I'm grateful for this meeting, because I was able to come here and be honest and talk about how I felt, and there was no, nobody judged you. It was just, it's like a sanctuary, you know? You come here, you meet people that make such a difference in your life. I'm not at home drinking in isolation anymore. I go and do things, but I come to this meeting as much as I can, because I need to keep coming in order to maintain my sobriety, because I don't think on my own I would. I need to keep coming and plug in, and it's where I know it's a safe sanctuary. And everything isn't perfect in my life, but that isn't a reason to pick up a drink.
Right.
You know? So, I get up in the morning, make my coffee, get dressed, and make it here as much as I can. And it's hearing stories like we heard today that makes me so grateful for this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phyllis. The clothes king. Hey, Jerry.
I had a wonderful experience. I spent 5 days in the Parkland Hospital.
Oh.
And I got nothing accomplished. I just kept seeing surgeons and everything else, and they finally said I had gastritis, so I couldn't stop laughing. I said I'm always going to gas bag anyway. But the thing that shocked me was they said, we know you're in a lot of pain. I said, yeah. I said, I take the Tylenol. No, you every 4 hours you can have oxycodone. I said, what? I said, holy shit, like that. And I said, why, what's the matter? I said, no, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I said, gee, if I wasn't, I said, I'd be hanging out the window with that oxycodone. Every time 4 hours went by, I went, wow, I could have had I think that's the old Jerry kicking it. I was thinking about when I said that somebody asked me how much time I had. I said, well, I'm glad I had 41 years. I said, but all I got is 40 years, 9 months. I said, I'm coming up on the 11 days, like that. And the nurse started laughing her ass off. I said, there's a doctor now. Anyway, so, excuse me, somebody else gonna take over. Hello?
How many days?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Scotty Alcohol.
Hey, Scotty.
So glad to be able to come here. Sorry I was late. When I was getting sober, I could not be late or have to stay to the end. And one of my good friends who told me where the meetings were, because I couldn't figure them out myself. I called this other buddy of mine who was, I don't judge anybody. Was he worse than me or was he not as bad as me or whatever? If I knew him, there you go, right? So he told me, he goes, you don't have to go the whole meeting. And I was like, holy mackerel. He goes, sometimes it might only take whatever you need to get there and go, And that's what I try to do now. I never would have been late before someone speaking, it's just me, because of my mental illness. I don't drink, I don't drug, I'm still wacky as a jaybird, as they want to say. You know, the other day, Saturday, I'm at a football game for one of my grandkids. You know, my daughter, my husband, and, you know, my wife, all this. One of my good friends from Southie, who family owned like a bar, you know, like a bar in Southie for like 3 years. I met this guy. His father would, I'd be in there at whatever time, right? His father would be throwing blood up in the sink. Then he'd be drinking creme de mint to coat his stomach, right? We'd be doing lines and drinking beside the father. You know?
Right.
So finally, Stevie, whose name is nothing that matters, they sold the bar. They got like, I don't know how many multi-millions, you know? Kids are all my kids' ages, and he said, I finally broke it. He goes, I couldn't have my kids growing up in the same environment he did, you know? So we're shooting the breeze. Stevie looks old like myself, and everybody's like, what are those two doing together? The people that know me and knew him. And then someone at the park, you know, it's Gabby Park down in Ponset there. You know, nothing, like any park, anywhere, someone's smoking a joint. All of a sudden, the head turned around like, are those two smoking at this thing? My daughter was like, what? What? She goes, who are you with? And I told her, and she's like, oh my God, you know, Rex Rory's dad, he's, you know, whatever, you know. Best thing that ever happened to me is coming to this program. Joe said his home group is 500 yards from his house. Well, I tried to jump to every meeting. I didn't care where I went. I didn't want to see anybody. Unfortunately, I saw everybody. Because it doesn't matter. You go to a meeting, you sing. So finally, after, you know, years of trying to say, well, you know, I haven't drinking in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I can drink now, I can go drugging, you know, that was me, you know. And I walked to a meeting from my house. It was, you know, from here to, I don't know, let's say Rogers gas station. I go, there you go, you know. Find the closest meeting you can get to and just try to keep on going as often as you can. Because, you know, they say fake it, you make it, you know, absolutely, whatever it takes. When you come to this program, try to stay. Try not to go back out. Because, you know, I went to the hospital last week, you know, test all this stuff, and they asked me how old I was, and I told them I was 67, you know, and the nurse gives me a funny look. I'm like, she goes, that's 68. I was like, holy shit, I got a bonus year. But where did that year go? I don't know, you know? And then it's just like one of those things, it's like, you know, just try to do the best you can, not anybody else, the best you can do every day. I wish I could practice what I'm preaching here, people, because I try, but it doesn't happen quite a bit, you know? My life's crazy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, I've said it before. I go out with friends and they're like, you didn't get a drink. I'm like, I don't drink. When's the last time you had a drink? I said, like, you know, just, well, whatever. I haven't had a drink in over 16 years, you know? And they look at me like, we were just out last week. And I'm like, oh, last year? I'm like, yeah, but I didn't drink. No one's watching you or watching her to see if they're drinking or drugging, because they're just a fucking mess. Excuse my language, I usually try not to swear, but that's just how it is.
Right.
And no one's gonna sober this guy up other than me. And the only way I'm gonna stay sober is coming to meetings. Stevie Detroit, I always said I didn't like Detroit, but Stevie said that one day, and he goes to a meeting every day. He drank every day, goes to a meeting every day. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Shit, that's all I gotta do. I mean, there's meetings at 5 and 6 in the morning, you know. If you get an excuse saying, oh, I couldn't make that meeting today, no way. I had to pick my cousin up. He lives by Davis Square in Somerville. He took the train to Mattapan, walked to my house so we could go to a meeting the other day. My kid goes, Dad, how long did that take him? My kid's a grown man. I go, it probably was less than if we had to drive and find a parking space. You know, that's just what he does to stay sober, you know? Did he need to see me? No, he could have gone over that way, but he just needed to get out of that rut. You know, he's living in a halfway house. He's telling me, first, second floors, that's where the girls live. They're shooting meth. Says, third floor, they're all smoking crack. I said, so what do you do, go from floor to floor? Right. Nah. And he goes, no, you're not with me. But no, and I'm not saying that as a joke, but he needs to live there. And that's the environment that they're giving some of these people, because dual diagnostic.
Yep.
So, after they piss dirty, they say, oh, my brain was screwed up. And it just goes back and forth, you know? So just come to these meetings as much as you can. And that's what I try to do. Even if it's half a meeting. Hopefully I can get to another one tonight, you know? I know my wife likes it when I go to meetings, you know? And then courts do too.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love you all, and I mean that. Sorry about that one F-bomb. I'm getting better, and I mean that, but like, honestly, stay sober. I love you all. Great to see everybody. Rob, thanks for stepping up, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scotty. Love you too. Progress, not perfection. There we go. That's what we mastering here. Any burning desire before we sign off? Go ahead, Jerry.
You know I like
Oh, yeah, close us out.
Yeah, I got a lot of time when I was in the hospital there. Looking out the window, I was looking at unallowed reading for 5 days. You know, but I had a lot of time to think and everything else. And I kind of how lucky I was when I was talking about the oxycodone that they offered me every 4 hours. You know, because like I said, I've been climbing up the roof and shit. You know, I started on them. There's got to be a higher power in me. I'm not a very religious person. You know, I was brought up as a Catholic, and I once I started drinking at the age of 12, you know, I really went out the window and everything else, and I took on a new life. It was a life of horror. I did things that I regret today, and I got a wonderful girl. She saved my life. She pulled me out of the old combat zone and everything else. And her anniversary's coming up on the 30th, and everybody wants to throw a little party for her, in remembrance. And I already said, yeah, okay. I said, but I'm going to pick up the bill. And they looked at me and said, what? Holy shit, I don't pay? I said, yeah. I stopped gambling and everything else, so I got money again. I'm really grateful. I walked out the door of the Blackman Hospital, and I sat outside waiting for my kid to pick me up, just looking around. And they didn't find, I saw 2 surgeons, and they didn't find what I thought they were going to find. They took a couple of biopsies in the stomach, and they said, they asked the magic question, do you smoke? No. Do you drink? I said, no, I've been after 41 years. They said, they looked at everything, and my kidneys are fine, everything's fine. I got a iron deficiency. They put me on another goddamn medicine. I got to take every other day. I take 11 medicines a day, and I said, Jesus Christ. It's tough to get old. It really is. But
You look great.
Scotty, thank you very much. You look like 67. But I'm grateful today. I'm grateful for this meeting and everything else. I thought about all of you when I was in there and everything else. And the one thing I said is, I see pain in the ass is gone. And I'm grateful for that. Everybody come here and feel safe for change. And that's about the end. I think the wrap-up thing is all done.
Thank you. On that note, stand together. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all of our traditions, ever reminding us to praise principles before personalities. I have every right to say I'm an alcoholic and I attend meetings, but I do not have the right to say I saw you here. And if you could send a special prayer to those who are sick and suffering, that'd be great. Who keeps us sober? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm just gonna check my phone, make sure that